for you, and then the diet, and then Coke Zero.
Yeah. So we're actually just choosing the healthiest
Yeah.
option.
Yeah.
We live.
Oh shit, nice.
No, you're
Where are we
good.
live on? Is it on
Welcome, welcome.
Twitter?
We're live on Twitter. I just tagged
Okay.
you in it. We
Twitch.
Let
broadcast
me
live
just
to
smash
Twitter,
RT.
YouTube.
live to Twitch. It's not live to YouTube
Oh.
yet. It for some reason keeps having that like weird connection thing where it just
Oh
does
yeah.
not want
Or
to.
we have to be so many months. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And we're
I'm
not going
not
to
a
do
fan, not
Unlonely
a
app
fan.
because screw
Dude,
that
yeah, I
guy,
saw
dude.
all that. Have you heard about that DCF Unlonely
And
app?
no, only app?
Unlonely.
Unlonely.
Unlonely app? I'd never
Yeah.
heard of this app.
Unlonely.
Is it like Tinder?
Supposedly.
Well, it's
Oh,
like
interesting.
it's like a Twitch. It's like a Web3 streaming platform, but the first groups that were doing it was doing like I don't know, one of the reality dating shows where they would like watch two people do an internet date or something like this.
Oh,
But, like,
damn.
but like the founder was tweeting that he's like, fuck paying, Solidity devs more than 200K. Like, that, what a waste of money and all this stuff. And
Dude,
then,
that
like,
wasn't even the part that got me. It was more on the security side of things.
well,
Like
well,
the way that,
that's and I'm like, yeah, get the people that can take you down, the people that can that exploit your smart contracts, piss them off, tell them they're all overpaid. And then some people, one lady came out and was like, hey, there's a exploit in your contract, and he's like, I don't give a fuck, and he said it.
Damn.
He's like, I don't care. And then the next day they were using the same smart contracts that had an exploit in them
And then they got exploited? Did someone take advantage of it?
well,
No.
the smart contract researcher put out a large disclosure saying that I found this exploit. They're not going to fix it, so I wouldn't recommend using their platform tonight. And I doubt anyone.
It didn't get exploited because there was no funds in there to start with.
Correct.
Yeah,
No
pretty much.
one wants to use this shit anyway. He just wants attention. I'm just
I
kidding.
think
I have
that's
no
like-
idea what the product is.
That's like one thing that is has always been kind of missing because I don't think that we're at a point where you can compete with like I guess Web2 infrastructure in that sense when it comes to video content.
Oh, yeah.
So like having a decentralized Twitch, Kick, something like that. You see that there's like a want for with these content creators to keep bouncing from platform to platform because they're either being deplatformed or they're welcomed with open arms until that company reaches critical mass and they have to kind of tighten down on like what type of content they're allowing on the platform. And it's just this like hot potato game of people being kind of pushed out because eventually they don't fit whatever the norm is for that medium that they're distributing content on. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see something like that. We thought Unlonely might be a cool one to try out, and then like 3 days after I'd reached out, this like shitstorm kicked off. So we were like, fuck that.
It's like,
Yeah, they would like. I think they did some sort of betting. I don't know if it was like during the live date, if they would like go on a second date or whatever, but something during the show, people could bet on things, and that's what the use of the smart contract was for.
oh, interesting. Yeah, I think Twitch. There was a time last bull market where I saw a product that was allowing crypto betting on Twitch. So there's these really big platforms. I don't know if they're still on Twitch or used to be on Twitch, where you could like watch a CS:GO game and then like bet on who the winner would be, or like bet on if the guy could get like 9 headshots or something along those lines. So their idea was not even to plug into Twitch directly, but to offer a Chrome extension outside of Twitch, so Twitch couldn't block it. And then you could like place bets on. The streamer could collect bets, keep a cut of the bets, and then place bets on like whatever he would do. You know, like if I get 10 headshots, more than
this.
10 headshots, you get this.
I think
Less,
it was
then you
called
get
a
that.
hamster race.
Yeah, basically hamster race, but on like Twitch live streamers. I think it would work really well, like if it
I do
hit
too.
any sort of like critical growth.
I'd bet on it.
Yeah,
Like I would
for
be
sure.
an active user. Look, I mean, it's not hard to get me to bet on your platform. Like I'm betting on flight delays and stuff right now.
Where are you betting on flight delays?
There is a app on Polygon that lets you bet on whether or not a flight a specific flight is going to be on time or late. And being the airline connoisseur that I am, I sometimes I resisted
Hey,
for a
that's my
while,
dog.
but don't worry, you'll hear mine like crying and whining in the background throughout
Yeah,
the stream
he wants
sometimes.
to go up the stairs. He's crying.
So mine is she'll sit by the door and just look at me, and once I look over, she'll start whining. She wants to cross. Just like that.
Dude, you can set up prediction markets for anything with an API endpoint now. Like
Yeah.
what else should we be doing prediction markets for?
The weather.
What should we be, or what will we be?
Dude, if you can scale it up and do a market for anything,
we will have a
why not?
market on anything
Why not?
that can be traded in the future. It's a question of like, should we as a society be betting on
The weather
anything?
would be funny though, because like typically prediction markets like actual show like what the true intention is, regardless of what like the noise is.
You can't bet on
But
weather.
for the
though.
weather,
You
the
need
weather,
to,
you don't really.
You already know.
there's like tooling available to manipulate the weather, so
Yeah,
it's
so
not a fair.
I mean, it's gonna
like,
be
betting.
manipulated market just like everything else. Whatever.
It's not a fair arena. Yeah, but flights are a little bit easier because like someone could plan to do something to like cause a flight to be delayed, but it's a lot harder to I think coordinate against someone betting essentially on like 0 DTEs for flights versus someone making a slightly longer term bet on stuff like that. DK.
How much volume is there on flight delay bets, like in a day?
I have no idea.
Probably nothing.
Probably not. I'm probably their top. I just like dox myself.
He just gets
as a top
refunded because
trader.
he's the only one every time.
Just betting against himself.
Yeah.
There's clearly other people there, but yeah, I'd be interested as to like how much of it is just me, and them taking the other side. Like if we just pay him out long enough, like eventually people will come.
No, it's actually never mind. I was gonna say that because Cozy brings it up every stream that he's betting on this, but I still don't know the name of the app. I still don't, does it actually exist?
Is it a crypto thing or what?
It's on Polygon. I'll send it to you off stream. I don't want to shill it on. It's pretty degenerate. I don't want to shill it on stream.
Okay.
But
You're just airdrop farming. Don't worry.
yeah, describing it, let alone anyone could just like Google like the descriptive words and find it because I don't know anything else that allows this.
No, I've actually seen it on Twitter once.
Yeah, I saw it and I thought it was an ad and a scam, and the first time I didn't look at it, but then
I connected my wallet.
then I saw like Hamza share something about it, and then I was like, okay, all right, this is legit. I need to go check it out. All right, but onto why we brought you on. First off, welcome DCF God. For those of our viewers, listeners who don't know who you are, why don't you give yourself a brief intro? Let's talk about some of the things that you've built over the last couple of years, and then we'll get into Anata shit.
Nice. Yeah, so I am DCF God. I basically I'm very DeFi focused, but I also like to build stuff in crypto. I started off just in Bitcoin way back in 2013, and then have kind of always stayed involved. Made my crypto Twitter account just before the last bull cycle kicked off, so just around like right after yams time. So we were farming yams, and then I made an alt account just to talk about it because on my regular docs account, no one was really responding to me or caring about it. So I made this account, and then cared a lot about like Rari and Olympus and those like kind of early DeFi projects. And that's kind of like when I started growing. Then I built Votomac, which was basically the bribed platform for TokenMac. And then that got acquired by Redacted, which became Hidden Hand, which I'm sure a lot of you have used now. And then after that, I built Anata with Grug and Big D, and we did a big launch. Created what I think is probably one of the most robust NFT collections out there. Still has a large treasury, continues to ship every day. Strong team, and yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I've been a huge Anata proponent, supporter.
You have.
Since you guys
You're my
launched.
favorite holder.
Thank you. I actually saw like real use in it. Anata never paid me for anything, guys. I shill this like on my own accord. It's probably like my biggest like strength and weakness to a project.
Gag hold. Yeah.
Make me an honorary, and like I will, if it's something cool, I'll probably be your like biggest supporter. Um, but yeah, VTuber avatars were something that like really spoke to me when you guys were launching because, as like a non-focused pseudo anons that have been building for a while, you're taking calls all the time, and like there's nothing that's more boring and just kind of like dull than hopping on a call with like 5 or 6 people and everyone just having like a red circle with a letter in it, and you're
Yep,
seeing
it's the
like
worst.
reverberations around that for the whole call. Like you can't interpret and it's not that you like 100% can with these, but like you can't interpret tone. You don't really get a feel for like the person, their gestures, like the way the conversation's going. And for like a viewer, for something uh like outward facing content that's not a like quote unquote business call, if you're watching a podcast or something and like one of the guys is doxxed and on camera and the other one's just not, it
Yeah.
creates a really weird kind of like vibe when you're watching it. It's like, you'd rather just listen to it because you can't see both of their faces. So this added like a really cool like additional element to that. And I get compliments on every single meeting I get on. Like
Love that.
literally every day when I hop on, the first thing someone says is like, "Oh wow, that's really cool. Where'd you get that?" or "What is that?" And then I give them my little 60
Anata
second
spiel.
pitch on
Yeah. And
why
then
they
we also
should.
Yeah.
know they're not really crypto native. Because if you're really crypto native, you know what Anata is. But
Yeah, that's the litmus test.
yeah,
It's whether
exactly. Yeah.
it's how they out themselves.
They
Is
Yeah,
say sweet
exactly.
Anata or oh, what's that thing?
Yeah. And then we're
yeah.
like, okay, well, you're
That's
new
hilarious.
here. You're definitely new here. Yeah.
If I don't hear like something like after I'm done explaining, I know that they're it's not gonna work. It's not looking good, bro. So yeah, Anata has done like a ton of shit for their holders since their launch. They launched with just these VTuber avatars. The V1 you can see DK using.
Yeah.
Then you guys did like updated PFPs.
Yeah.
I bullied an idea of breeding into the Discord, and you guys brought
That
that to
happened.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
that really happened. We were able to breed our Anatas and create little chibis, which I haven't figured out the hotkey to make him pop up
Oh
yet.
yeah. I made mine control one, and so I can convert it into a chibi and boom, back into DCF. So small version, big version. But the breeded chibis are actually not the same ones as these. These are just like
Yeah, yeah.
your main and can go chibi form. But we had an event where you could like you and another holder could match up, and you got airdropped an egg, and then the egg became a chibi. So like you literally made a chibi with another holder. I think that was the first time any NFT has ever done something like that. And the
Ugh.
chibi like had face tracking and hand tracking and animations, like a full VTuber. It's really cool.
They're pretty cool. I of my um of the 3 ladies that I have that I was able to choose mates for, um there's one chibi that turned out really cool
Boom.
because of the traits that we each had. Um yeah, and our team is great. You guys have done a really good job keeping them like together, happy, and
Hmm.
still pushing stuff out. It's really hard in the NFT world to, it seems like, keep the teams together and kind of excited about pushing out content, especially with the way that not just like the crypto market but the NFT market has been specifically. Um,
Yeah.
you guys
It's
are
just a
about to launch.
misalignment of incentives there. Like what happens is other teams, they'll like pay an artist to make something and then they'll just go off and launch it and never talk to the artist again. So then when they have
Yeah.
to launch something else, it becomes really difficult and really awkward. For us, we were like, okay, we'll pay you and then we'll ensure you have a full-time job after that. So the artists are like still fully employed, getting like extremely high salaries, multiples of what they used to make. They're very happy. They continue to produce great content. We're happy. We downsized a bit to get burned down, but we kept the majority of the artists on, and we just keep churning stuff, keep pushing stuff. That's kind of what we're here for.
And if you're in the Discord, it seems like that they all have a blast like doing their
Yeah, they have
quote
so much
unquote
fun.
job. Like they're on stream every day. They're doing
Yeah,
like collaborative things where people can come on and watch them like create different elements for the Anatas. They have game days that they're doing interactive stuff and like giveaways to holders. Um, it's definitely,
yeah,
I think, one of the most, I don't want to say like slept on projects, but really because it's so general. But really, I do think that Anata is one of the most slept on communities that are still around and have remained like consistently outputting stuff throughout this bear market. So we've got Halloween clothing coming out, and you
Yes.
have this whole, and that's kind of leading into this whole new thing where you can't necessarily change trades, but you can change their wardrobe.
Yeah.
Fill us in on this a bit.
So basically, our idea with the 1.0s, you can see from D3 is like those are stuck in their current clothing, but we wanted to be able to let people switch up their VTuber so it feels real. You know, when you get on a video call, sometimes you're wearing a hoodie, sometimes you're wearing a suit, sometimes you're wearing like nothing, like whatever you want to wear, you can wear. But we didn't want to destroy the like rarity. So what we did was we said all of the clothes that your Anata ships with are unique to your Anata, so only you'll ever have those. But we'll have like holiday themed or collab themed clothings that anyone can put on. So there you go. D3 is wearing his
He's
chibi
got
now.
his chibi.
Um, so with the holiday themed clothing, what you can do is you can just show up and you can download like various Halloween costumes, and then we have tutorials for how to put them on, and then you can put them on and wear them on a video call. So anyone can wear the costumes on their Anata, but anyone can't put on a different Anata's clothes. So that way it's like you still keep the rarity stuff, but you also get some like configurability and like fun. So in Christmas, we can launch like Santa outfits, and then at Easter we can drop like bunny ears for everyone and things like that. And then we're also doing for Halloween this Friday. Anyone can come play in a haunted house. So the DAO funded some 3D world creators to make us like a haunted 3D world, and you can come download your Anata in 3D form and go into this 3D world and walk around this haunted house, like jump scares, talk to other holders, chit chat, like just like vibe and hang out. It's really cool because we broke out of this like 2D VTuber land. So now you can have your 2D VTuber like the one we're using, but also your 3D model, which you can then take into VR chat, these kind of experiences, various games, create videos with, do whatever you want with. And like if you were to go to like a 3D model creator and get one of those made, and also go to like a VTube creator and get one of these VTubers made, net like getting all this and then get a custom PFP drawn, like non-AI, beautiful custom PFP, I think it would cost people like 5 to 10 grand. And they could instead just buy a Nata and like instantly have everything they need to be an anon in like the highest fidelity. So that's what we're trying to offer here.
It's really cool. So outside of, since they will have the ability to kind of change wardrobe, will there ever be something kind of like, I don't want to say exactly like the pandas because that's trade swapping, but
Yeah.
let's say like a mall or clothing store, right? Like
Hmm.
where people that own an artist can go in and they can choose from different outfits they could acquire, put on. Because something
Yeah.
that I've always wanted, but like I've never wanted to bother the artist or ask for it, is
Right.
uh, the clothing that like my cozy cat is known for wearing. Just like, the track pants, the blue hoodie,
Hmm.
um, and I have like a 3D VRM model of that cozy cat. But it's
Yeah.
like I enjoy using this one so much that I don't want to use that I won't want to use that one once the Sonatas once I
Right.
have access to the or the VRM model of it, that I would just want to like take the clothes and put it on that. When is that coming?
So we don't have anything like that right now, but given the setup, it's definitely possible. Like you can put any clothes onto your Anata now that we create in VTuber assets. I don't think we've tried it with the 3D assets yet, but we could definitely build something along those lines. Uh, the only issue is the files are off chain; they're not off chain on chain to change the
Yeah, yeah.
clothing. So one person could like buy the clothing and then send it to other people, and we'd have to start to get into like
IP
right,
disputes.
yeah, not ISP disputes, but just like ensuring people aren't like stealing it and sending it around because I would just piss off people that paid for it. Or we could
Yeah.
just be cool with it and be like, yo, you didn't buy the OG, whatever. That we're gonna make this content anyway, so I'm cool with giving it all away for free. Like I would want to kind of start with a clothing store with no costs, just like here's all the clothing, come download it and use it. Because
Yeah.
my main concern is just adoption of Anatas. I don't want anything to stop people from being like, I don't want one, or I don't want to use one, or that's too expensive, or that. That's why we're trying to make them as accessible as possible. Like you just pay once, and then everything we create is free, right? Like the PFP was free, the 2.0 was free, the Chibi was free, the 3D VRM that's going to be free. Anything the art team makes for you is free. The clothing is free. The worlds we create for you are free, and then we still have like $5 million in the treasury to keep making more and more and more free stuff. Like other projects, their goal is to launch new collections and then charge people mint prices so that they can get revenue for themselves. But like we are truly a DAO where our goal is to just make these better and better and better forever until they're like the best NFT on the planet, you know? And ideally, we never have to charge people for anything to do that.
Now, even though value wise, I think that, everything you listed, you get a ton for what you'd pay for an Anata. But I
Yeah.
still think that like to the regular, like outside of crypto retail user,
Yeah.
that's still like a decent amount of
Still too
money.
expensive.
So
Yeah. So we have
outside
a
of cost,
solution
like,
coming too.
okay, I was just gonna ask, outside of cost, like what are other like kind of roadblocks or hurdles that you guys are trying to tackle that you hear are the roadblock to someone getting in or wanting to purchase an Anata?
Yeah.
We'll say outside of like, oh, it's not for me. I don't use that type of
Yeah.
stuff.
So outside of, there's two things. One, for crypto people, it's probably cost. It's like, oh, I don't want to spend that much on getting one. The floor price right now isn't really that high. It's like 0.7 ETH. It's like
Yeah.
probably cheaper than getting it done, way cheaper than getting it done all yourself,
Oh, it is.
But
Yeah,
even
I've
so,
gotten some on the side, and like after getting it rigged and like tweaking things out, if you want it
yeah.
detailed and kind of the way you want it, you're gonna spend more than a floor price Sonata right now.
Yeah, for sure. And then for non-crypto people, the problem is the crypto element, It's like there are actually people that go on Fiverr or these various websites and get VTubers made, and they have multiple month-long backlogs. There are people that will go online and buy 3D models to use in their video games, and they'll pay like 50 or $100 for just like a pre-made 3D model for them that where they can use it however they want in their games. So what's stopping them from getting an Anata and using that in their games, or getting an Anata and using that as a VTuber instead of waiting multiple months from a creator to make one for them? It's the crypto piece, right? It's hard to Google it, it's hard to learn from it, it's hard to pick up an NFT. A lot of artists don't like NFTs. They think NFTs are all scams, things like that. So one idea we have, which we don't know if we're going to do or not, but one idea we have is like you can have a character creator where you could make any sort of, using all the Anata traits, you could generate any sort of like 3D VRM and use that without owning the NFT. Then it's kind of like, you don't own the NFT, you don't get all these future airdrops, all the value and stuff like that. But if you want a 3D model, you can
You
come
can pay
pay
for
like a
access to
small
like
amount.
yeah.
Yeah, and make like a randomly generated 3D model. And then we could take that whole market, which is I think like at least $100 million plus market, right? Of people, just because we have the most traits of any NFT collection, I think, in the world. Like it's like multiples more than Azuki. If you combine all the traits, it ends up being like millions of possible combinations. So
There's
you could really
tons
make
of
any,
101s too, like
so
just
many one-on-ones.
strictly
Basically
because
everything
of
is
like
one-on-one.
yeah, like there's
Yeah,
very few that there are some that may share
there's no
like a
repeats.
clothing trait, like
Yeah,
or a clothing trait that's similar. But yeah, there are no repeats. Like everyone
yeah,
is, even when I would find them that I'm like, oh, this one's kind of like that one. When I would pull them up next to each other, I'm like, oh, well, this
they're
one
way
doesn't have
different.
the mask, or this one's hair
Yeah,
color is different, and it, is missing this. There are always like a few things that made them. Yeah, we have 50 trillion combinations, roughly
yeah, there you go.
3,000 traits. Yeah, it was nuts. I remember when they first came out and I was going through them all. I'm like, holy shit. Like it was
50
hard to decide
trillion
which one
combos. Yeah.
it was hard to decide the exact one that I wanted as like the girl that I was going to pick because there were so many that were extremely different but like a similar vibe kind of. Um, so it's
Yeah,
hard
that's
to
the
narrow
that's the
down.
point. Because if you're trying to make something your identity, you don't want to come get an identity that's the same as someone else's, right? Like so many
Yep.
times I'm scrolling on Twitter and I see two Miladies and I don't know who's who. I have to like read their name. you like when I'm scrolling, it's usually the picture that tells me who the person is. So it has to be unique enough. And our answer to that was like, let's make a small NFT collection, it's only 2,000, not 10,000, but let's handcraft every single one of them and make them all unique so that when a person buys one, they can truly make it their identity and not have any complaints, any confusion, or anything like that. The whole asset is covered, right? Your PFP, your 3D worlds, your stickers, your VRMs, your Twitter, everything is can be created. So one-stop shop to become an anon was our goal. And now we have people that don't want to be anons, but they want VTubers or they want 3D models. And so our idea is maybe we can have a website that uses our 3 trillion combinations for you to easily make one of those. And then you check out and pay with a credit card, or you check out and pay with a small amount of crypto. You just get the file. You don't get an NFT or anything like that. You can't create a combination that's already in Anata. And then all the funds go into the Anata treasury. And then those funds get used for marketing to then grow the Anata brand or to create new products or things like that. We don't want to create this like side business that just gives revenue to our own pockets or things like that. We truly are for our holders, however that can be.
Yeah, it's been cool to see discussions over the last year just come up again and again on like how to spend in different ways. You keep referencing how you guys really are a DAO, and you see a lot more active conversation around a wide range of topics in the Anata Discord versus traditional like DeFi quote unquote DAOs where it's usually maybe like 3 people that are active with the team, and then everyone else is just like speculative token holding loon boys.
Yeah.
Where in this you guys are talking about like I remember talks of salaries and treasury spends and like uh, treasury allocations and discussions over runways and like you guys really did talk about all the financials as well as what features to come next, where
Yeah.
capital should be allocated to, and what the artists should be spending their time on.
Yeah.
Um,
And we try to do as much of that in the public as possible. I would say like my biggest disappointment so far is just like not a lot of holder proposals. And
yeah,
one thing I don't think that's like when I came into Anata, I really thought, oh, once holders pay a lot for this, they're going to come up with a bunch of ideas and like come request money and build all these things for us. But then I quickly learned that that
nope,
isn't the case. And
no,
we need to kind of like step it up and do a lot of this for them, help guide the roadmap, and then just ask for approvals and then ask them for like budgets and be responsible with their money and things like that. And I think we've pivoted and adapted to that pretty quickly. We
yeah,
basically hired Harrow and Hounds to be like co-CEOs of all of Anata, and then they have put together like a good community management team, good art team, good events team, and together, Anata DAO kind of just like runs on its own, continuously shipping stuff. Like even right now, while we're on this call, there's a whole team building out a world of pets, and soon you'll be able to like get a pet for your Anata and like interact with it. So on the screen, I'll have like a little Pokemon like pet like floating around with me, and I can turn it on or off, or I can like do emotes where I like feed it and like play with it, and whatnot. And that's just gonna be another like free thing for all holders. And we think that's just a way better way to do pets. What other projects did was they had you come mint like dog or something like that, and then you just had like a JPEG of a dog in your wallet. You could, like that was it. You can interact with it. You can't flex it. You can't put it anywhere. But with us, our pets will be like deeply ingrained in the NFT itself. Where like while I'm on this call, I could bring it up, and you'll see it move and play and things like that.
I always think pets are like a cool little addition to anything. I was actually thinking about this last night because um because in a game that I happen to play quite often, I like to I like to wear I have 2 pets that I use often that I wear on my back.
Nice.
And then after I was done playing, we were talking about my dog for some reason, just like the things she was doing and how she looked, and I was just thinking about like why I like love animals and like pets so much, and it's like they're just this, especially a dog, because like when they become imprinted on you, they're just like this extension of you that like without without ever being like angry in the way that like a human is because like of the way
Yeah.
humans interpret emotions. Like they're generally always just happy to be attached to your side and like genuinely worried about your well-being, but like they can't say a word to you. So it's just this like it's just this aura that like follows you everywhere that is like always worried about how happy you are. So like in games, like pets were always a cool thing too. Like one game that I loved growing up was called Castle Crashers. Did you ever play that
Okay.
game?
No, I never played it.
All right, so Castle Crashers is this game that's like masked as a child game. It's like a 2D scroller, but it's like
Okay.
super gory for what it is.
Damn.
You're like these little knights, and you run through each level, slicing up other knights and monsters and stuff to try to save the princess. Kind of like a Mario theme to it,
Platformer.
but yeah, but it's way more animated. You know, Mario like storyline, but much more animated. Um, and you have these little pets that like you can acquire throughout the like will help you fight or like give you different abilities. And that was one of my favorite parts of the game. That like you had these little pets. So TLDR, I think it's cool you guys are looping pets into it and that they have this kind of like Pokemon esque look and feel to
Yeah,
them.
that's the
Um,
goal.
I think for a lot of us, Pokemon was like a big part of our childhood.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I thought it was cool seeing those when Hero I think leaked some of the
Yeah.
prototypes.
They're all on the main Twitter page, like what they're kind of gonna look like. But excited to reveal like the final ones. When you see them with your VTuber, they're so much cooler.
How does this fit in with like how they have the chibis right now? Are you going to will people mint these as something? Well, I guess we didn't mint the children. Will will these be a separate NFT like
No,
the chibi children, or will they be attached to your NFT like the current mini chibis that we can use?
they'll be attached to your NFT. So the big we were when we did the Chibi's airdrop, the narrative was people wanted airdrops, right? People wanted
Yeah, yeah.
more NFTs, and I think in hindsight, everyone that did more NFTs just found that the like secondary collections are like no volume, they're harder to use. It's a bit annoying because you have to kind of like swap from your current NFT to a different NFT. So now our goal is to just deliver as much value as we can to one NFT. So we want to create like the best monolith NFT. So when you come into this
Mhm.
ecosystem, you don't have to be like, which one do I buy? We don't have to like do tiered different holder styles and things like that. It's like here is the NFT, get it, and you get everything, and it's all in one. You don't have to worry about like, okay, I sold my guy, but I didn't sell the pet, or this
Yeah.
guy came in and bought my chibi, but he didn't buy the father. Like so now everything's in one.
If you
The
guys charged for
PFP,
this, you'd bankrupt me. This is like the Mooncat. Do you remember the Mooncat store when that came, or the
Quit.
Mooncat
yeah,
boutique? Oh
yeah.
my god, dude. Uh, I got high and got psyopsed into buying like
Oh my God.
several one of ones by the unofficial team. We later
Oops.
found yeah, we later found out they weren't official, but
Well, he later found out that yeah, anyone could put something on the store. He just thought
Yeah,
they were
you could
like,
just draw something.
yeah.
And it's one on one.
yeah, we didn't know
That's
that
funny.
yet, but at the time. But yeah, I had the rarest Mooncat if we're going off of traits.
Yeah. So like if you go to Blur or something like that, you'll see and scroll through the Anata page, you'll see all the pictures are the PFPs, right? It's not like the VTuber is a different NFT. If you
Yeah.
just buy the PFP you like, then you can just connect to our site and download the 2.0 for the which is the VTuber for that one, right? And when the 3Ds come out, you'll just connect to our site and download 3D from that one. And when the pets come out, it'll just get added to that same NFT. And then we're currently working on upgrading all of the preview videos to be the PFP. And then in the bottom left corner, it's going to show the V2 NFT. And when you click play on the video, the V2 VTuber will become large. And then you'll see the 3D guy pop out of it, spin around, and go back
Ooh.
in, and then go to the corner. So then that way, when you see the like preview image, you can see it all in one. You can see the PFP, you can see the 3D, you can see the VTuber, and then hopefully we'll add the pet you get as well after.
That's dope. I'm gonna have to spend some time with. I see Hounds in the audience. I got to set up our meeting with him. He's gonna. We were talking on the 3D like Halloween world that they employed some people to help create for you. Hounds is going to help us set up a nice little 3D studio for
Oh
us here
yes,
at
I've seen
Eden.
the previews of this. You guys are gonna love it. But we'll have a whole 3D studio where you can use your Anatas and your 3D VRMs, like change camera angles, like put up screens. Like
What?
it's gonna feel like a real live newsroom, all because you guys have Anatas. And anyone that gets an Anata would be able to make a show or something like that. Like they really are like the most in-depth, most versatile, highest utility NFT in the space. I can't find anything other. I'm like confident saying that. And there's still like so much money in the treasury for us to continue to ship.
Fire. Yeah, you don't see many NFT projects that really expand past the just let's create a separate collection. It's
Yeah.
it's no hate to Frank from DGods, but that was one thing that I found really funny with like that whole kind of marketing psyop. Like every event was we're just releasing the same collection on a new chain, or
Yeah.
or we're releasing the same collection, but we've taken away traits, and it's on this chain now. And like people like loved it because they like love the brand, but there was nothing new. And after the last release they did, you could tell that kind of the morale started to turn a bit, where
Yeah.
people were wondering like, what else are we getting out of this?
Right.
What is it more than community and vibes?
Yeah.
um, uh, am I ever going to sell this thing? Like what else do I want to look at this picture of this guy forever? And
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing I've always loved about Anata, that it's not just I didn't
Yeah.
buy just a PFP. When people
Yeah.
say stuff to me like, did you make your money back from when you bought it? It's like, of course not. I didn't sell it. Like I did. You you answered your own question like in your question. Like I bought the thing. I didn't like buy it and relist it immediately. My
Yeah.
intention wasn't to put it on the open market. I bought them and gave out a bunch to like artists I was working with or talking to at the time that really liked Anata. But to your point, to people that were just getting into crypto from traditional avenues of work, spending a few $1,000s on an NFT or an online identity is like far outside of the realm of consideration for them. That's like
Yeah.
several months of sometimes like half a year of pay for them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I was just like giving tons of them out and like more than happy to like lose money to quote unquote lose money by investing in people being able to like have fun online.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. I
that's
think
something that. Go ahead.
now more than ever you can see an Anata like a complete product. Most NFTs you have to see them like, okay, I'm speculating on the team delivering this like new token or this thing that will make someone else want to buy it. Whereas in Anata, it's like when you buy it, you're buying the fully complete product. And the point is you should come buy it if you want to improve your identity as an anon, like hard stop, right? And then we will give you all of the possible tools you need to have the best digital identity in one NFT. And if you show up in our Discord, we will make sure you get that. Like there's people that showed up in Discord that have been like, "Hey, I wanna start a show." We make them all the assets they need, backgrounds, like the clips for transitions, intro sequences, whatever they need. We're here to like kind of help you build your identity around your Anata. So you
I gotta
shouldn't see it
bother you
as
guys
something
more.
you have to sell. Yeah, bother us more. Like it shouldn't be something you have to sell later. It should be something you buy to make your identity. And it's like, I see this as a cost of making this identity, and then it's my identity forever. Like you should never sell it. That's like selling your soul. Um, it, that was our goal, is like, come get this thing and let us make you like the best identity NFT, because we thought those are the best NFTs. And they shipped fully complete. There was no roadmap, no BS. And then all the funds just make them better and better and better. So you just get to get your identity, relax, and see your identity become more and more deep and more improved. And that's our goal.
Dingo said Anatas in the wild. Let's talk about that. Where can people find some Anatas right now outside of crypto? Where are you seeing a lot of adoption at? Are there a lot of gaming streamers, like just general like just chatting VTubers? Where are
Yeah.
you seeing a lot of interest, a lot of use
So
outside
to
of our
start,
sphere?
Yeah, to start the project, we were very crypto based because like me and you and Grug and Big D, we all felt the same pain, which is we would join a video call, there'd be a few docs people, and we couldn't turn our video on, and it would be really awkward. And this let us join video calls and have no awkwardness, actually make it exciting for the other person kept their video on, and we could have conversations. So we wanted to create the best product for crypto natives. So our goal was to create for the anons out there that wanted a better identity, that wanted video calls and things like that. Now, come to where we are today. A lot of people in crypto land have adopted Anatas, but we've seen adoption of NFTs and even the number of people on crypto Twitter just like kind of dwindle. So we've been trying to explore other avenues. So we started by sponsoring streamers within our own community, so they could spend more time streaming using Anatas. And that resulted in a bit of growth, but not much. But what we started in the last month was we found micro streamers and did small sponsorships for them to use Anatas as they game. So now I think there's like 20 or 30 people that are like active on Twitch using their Anata, gaming in our Discord, bringing in new audiences and things like that. And we're hoping that creates more natural adoption. We just started it last month, so I don't know yet. And then on top of that, if we release this character creator where you can make a 3D model or a VTuber, hopefully people that are currently going online and downloading 3D models and paying for VTubers will just come use Anatas, and that will allow it to grow beyond crypto too. But personally, I think there are far more than 2,000 anons in crypto that want this. They just haven't found it, tried it, or used it. And once those 2,000 people come here, the whole supply will be eaten up. And those are the 2,000 people I want to get. So when the bull market comes back and people are more into their anon identities and want something deep and fruitful and useful, they'll find an ATA. And we just need to find the 2,000 of them, and it's done. You know?
I feel like there was a generally like low float on Nada. What are there? Maybe like less than 100 of them that are available.
Yeah, there's very low float. Not a lot of people list them. I hope the rest of them are using them and not just like, oh, I'm into this thing in the bull market and forgot about it. But either way, your funds are being used to make your shit better. So I guess they'll be happy when they find it later.
Yeah, if anyone goes and scrolls through Anata, you can see some people haven't refreshed their metadata, but you can see some of the new updated PFPs. They did these a while ago,
Yeah,
but I think they're often overlooked because it was kind of like a, I don't want to say silent release. It just seems like it was more for the holders, like, something that like the holders really loved and appreciated,
yeah.
and you
So
didn't
our
see like.
idea with the PFPs was like, you see all these other projects, and what they do is they have like one artist or two artists, right? And we had three NFT. We have our internal art team, but we wanted to bring all of NFT art kind of together. So we got, I think, like 30 or 40 different artists. It might actually be more, to make the PFPs. And these are like artists all across the cryptoverse. So we have like some of the Tubby Cats artists. We have like Perry. We have, I can't list them off the top of my head, but there's a bunch of different like crypto artists that came and made like 5 or 6 each. So then what happened was this ended up being a collection of art. It's not just a PFP. You can see the artists that made yours. You can go look them up. You can see all the other things they've created. A lot of them are like highly desired, highly valued artists in crypto land. Um, and then we were hoping the artist, having made one, would result in a lot of marketing, but that didn't really turn out as I expected it to. So it was another lesson for me too. But we shipped it, and I think people that use it really love it. Yeah,
Dude, some of these are, I'm just scrolling through looking, and uh, there are so many that I hadn't seen before. The new
yeah,
PFPs, these artists like absolutely killed it. There
yeah.
are,
They're all so good.
there's like there's a project out, I think, called like Aurora or something like that, or
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah. I
know what
know
I'm
them.
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
There are
that's one of them.
some of these PFPs look very similar to like that style, and I absolutely love that style of
Cool.
art right now.
Nice. Yeah, and the other thing about these PFPs is they're not algo generated, right? It's not like we drew 100 traits and then click generate and then launch PFPs. What happened was literally 2,000 times an artist sat down and spent like 5 hours hand drawing something unique and beautiful based off your Anata using all the traits it has. So
There are
there's a lot of real love
3,000
that went into
traits.
it. Yeah.
They sat down and they looked at like just a collection of traits and they were like, okay, let's
They
let's
looked
play.
at they looked at the VTuber, and then they looked at the list of traits, and then they made the PFP, and then they did that again and again 2,000 times. Like this is like, like 30 people's work over months. It's not like a few people drew some traits and then an engineer clicked mix. So that's why it's also really unique PFP project.
I feel special because there's not a single Anata that has traits like mine.
Well, it's your brand. We didn't want to steal it.
I don't think that are there other cat ears outside of the other cat boys?
I actually have no idea. There, I can check.
I think besides
There's got to be
CL,
something.
I know there's bunny eared ones, but I think besides CL, I don't know if there's other cats. There's the
Possibly not.
there's the like the Palmer one with like the little tubbies, but that's a bit
Yeah,
different. That was one of my chibis that turned out like fucking awesome. Was
the
the one
tubby
that
one.
I did? Yeah, the one I did with Palmer because there's like all these little tubbies that are with it,
Amazing.
and then I'm trying to think of his name. He did some art and some work with
Sashimi?
Yearn.
Oh,
No, uh, he was big into NFTs for a while. I'm trying to think of his name though. He's one of the honoraries. Can't
oh,
think of it now, but we mated,
nice.
and that one turned out well. Yeah, all of them turned out really well. I think mine and Perry's chibi turned out well as also. That was the devil.
Oh, yeah,
She had like
that's a
some
good one.
devil waifu that was really dope.
Yeah, I like that one.
That was my original like ride or die I was gonna keep, and then she was like talking about how much she loved that one, and she didn't know that I owned it, and she was doing like lots of work for us. Me individually, like she made me like some sticker packs and like memes. She
Nice,
was making me memes at the time, and then
nice,
was doing. I think it worked for us at Premia, like doing some contract stuff. So yeah, I gave that one to her.
sick.
Um, and I found a new goddess that I replaced with. That one isn't going anywhere. I told Marty when he was looking for VTubers, I'm like, I've got 3 ladies that I could lend you, and I sent him. I'm like, but this one, if you use this
This is my
one,
forever.
special, okay? So you gotta act right when you put her on.
I love that.
So what's next? You've got the VRM stuff being worked on. You've
Yeah,
got Halloween clothing, and I take
yeah,
it probably Christmas stuff that's coming, which will be dope. Can't wait to put a
yeah.
Santa hat on.
Nice.
Um, so what's coming after that, or what are kind of the things that the DAO are discussing that the next initiative sprints will be?
Yeah. So next initiative is pets, and then after pets, I don't know what we'll do.
I
I
keep
think
forgetting that. I keep
waiting
missing
for
pets.
Holder to chat about it, but we're hoping to ship pets by like mid to late December. And then meanwhile, Hounds is kind of like really deep on 3D and
Yeah.
VRM land. And so he is gonna work on get all the VRMs shipped. So that should also happen by end of year. After the
Damn.
haunted house, we have a full 3D world launching that we've been working on for a long time. It's like kind of cyberpunk-esque where holders will have like rooms and nightclubs and all that kind of stuff to use their 3D models in. Then we'll do a lot of tutorials and stuff on like different places, games, VR apps, and stuff that you can use your 3D Anata in. And then we have Grug, who's working on a really big swag launch. So we want to
Dope.
do swag very well. We did like a mini swag box that we sent out to some active holders for free that they enjoyed, but we have like a nice high quality piece of merch that we want everyone to have. We haven't really talked about it yet. We're still playing with it, not 100% sure on if or when it'll ship, but there will be a DAO proposal and a cost, and every single holder will get one if they want one, and we'll ship them all out to everyone. But it's a really nice piece. So excited to show that off. hopefully also that happens by end of year. Um,
Was that the doc that was circulating in the or the form that was in the Discord like a week, 2 weeks ago?
No, that was the free box that we sent out. This is another
Okay,
piece.
okay.
So yeah, Grug and Hero are leading that charge right now. And then we're talking to some other projects on some collabs, and then hopefully we do like some Christmas outfits. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming. And if any holders or even you or anyone has an idea, like definitely pop in, write a proposal, or even like chat with Hero Hounds about it, because come January, I think we'll have more time, because our current roadmap takes us to end of December, and then we'll have like Q1. Okay, what's next? Kind of thoughts.
Yeah, what I found on the like proposal side of things is most holders are just speculators. So when you're saying or asking or thinking that like, well, because they're like getting value out of the work that we're doing, they'll also
Hmm.
like put in some kind of work. Um, it just doesn't happen because for them,
Yeah,
they've chosen something that they're going to speculate on, and outside of uh, keeping an eye on that investment, essentially, they're not going to put in like additional work unless they're being paid for the work. So like having like small working groups where they're incentivized or there's pay like for the proof of work that they're doing always seems to work really well. But
yeah,
otherwise, yeah, it takes like, I talked to you guys about this like way in the beginning. Like it takes a group to kind of be the benevolent dictators and
yeah,
like lay the groundwork and let everyone kind of uh, see the vision and like the path that you want to go with the project so that then the like the ones that are aligned with you from the community will then start to participate and they slowly start becoming more ingrained into what you're doing because they then care about, they see that they're aligned with the founders, their vision, the roadmap,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then they start taking part in it. And it's like a slow grind because you have to do all of the hard work at the front and you have to kind of, front the cost as the founder so that everyone
yeah.
understands exactly where you want to take it.
Yeah, and that's totally cool. We just didn't know if people would want that or not, and I think we found people wanted that. So that's why we've been just coming up with projects ourselves, thinking how you because I use it all the time. So I'm just thinking like, how can I improve this? What would be better? And then whenever we come up with an idea, we kind of focus on it, make it happen. And if anyone complains, we'll change our mind. Or if anyone has ideas, we'll integrate them. But I think we could go on forever, just like thinking of new things, making them better and better. Our goal for Anata is always just like ignore the noise of other NFTs and innovate and ship. And as long as we keep doing that, 2,000 people that want these will find them and use them and love them. Because like if this was another collection, I'd be like all over it. Like I love using mine. So yeah,
I don't know the logistics of building a product like this and getting integrated into the other products it would take to make it happen. But one suggestion would be Anata creating their own content interface similar to VTube Studio, so that you no longer have to use a separate piece of software. Then it
yeah, you
feels
could just
very
download like
familiar.
the Anata app. That'd be really cool.
Exactly,
Then it's like
and that
all branded.
yeah, because like I think one thing that um, is like a psychological roadblock with people is that they have to download a separate app. So it's like, okay, I want
Yeah,
to use my Anata. I don't want to, let's say they're not using hologram. They want to add their own backgrounds or they want to really start playing around with the different expressions and like hotkey
yeah,
combinations.
yeah,
You have to use VTuber Studio. And
yeah. You do.
for a lot of people, that seems like very esoteric to them. They're like, oh, I have to
Yeah,
download this app. I know nothing about rigging or adjusting my cameras or, whatever it may be. Like, it could just be overwhelming. And if you
yeah,
have one that's tailored to the Anata specifically, so that when you
yeah.
upload your Anata, it's already all of the parameters that you want to change are already detailed because it's aligning exactly with the folder structure that you have.
Hmm.
Um, it may
Yeah. So this
eliminate
is
that barrier.
this is actually a really good idea. It's one I was talking to Hologram about. Like early on, I asked them like, can we just white label Hologram so people go and download the Anata extension,
Yeah.
or because Hologram had a desktop app too. So like, why don't you just download the Anata desktop app then, and we could like deliver a full experience like all within our brand. It'd be like more trust. but I think I don't know why it never really happened, but that's one way to get it done. Otherwise, if we had to build an app for the ground up, like, I don't know, what do you think we need? Probably like 3 full-time engineers. Engineer costs like maybe 200K a year. It'd be like 600K a year kind of cost, and then maybe a product manager. So I would think, like, it would likely double our burn, and you
Yep.
wouldn't see product for like 6 months because you kind of have to build it. Like, have to learn about it and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's worth like that much overhead for us, like half the amount of runway we have. Um,
What are their
but
thoughts on white
perhaps,
labeling currently? Like now,
yeah,
I don't want to go into like all the details of that, but like I know that the situation is a bit different now than it was when Anata launched.
right.
Not for Anata, but for some of the other partners involved. Uh, is that something they may be open to now? Because then
I
that would
think they
cut your
could.
cost down significantly
It
to where
would be
maybe
so
you
much.
just pay like, I don't know, maybe 100, flat up front just
Yeah.
for like the white label, and just say like, hey, we'll put the engineers on like giving it the facelift, the redesign. We just want your architecture.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, how I would do it is I would just make it a subscription, right? There's plenty of platforms out. It's like, I can franchise a KFC, and I pay like monthly franchise fees.
yep.
So I would kind of make it a revenue model where it's like, we think more collection if Hologram thinks more collections are going to launch, like if Pudgies are going to launch VTubers, or if Dead Fellows are going to launch VTubers, or if we're going to have VTubers, then you don't really all these collections want to keep their brand. Like, that's what a lot of NFT value is, the brand itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So you could charge each collection something like 5 or 10K to host and manage a Chrome extension for them. And I would happily pay, like, from the DAO. I would vote yes. Of course, the DAO, rest of the holders have to decide. I don't have voting control or anything like that. But I think our DAO would vote yes on spending like something like 10K a month to
Yeah.
uh,
I had
manage a
this
Chrome
exact
extension
talk
in
with
our brand.
DK just before the weekend, because we had a meeting with a potential partner that was pitching us a redacted as a service, and it was
Hmm.
something that we were actually very interested in, because much for the same things that you're bringing up now, for
Yeah.
the product that we wanted to extend into, or build out a bit more fully featured than we currently are. They wanted to charge us, a significant amount plus like rev share and stuff, and it was like a slap in the face almost because of how high the cost was, um, considering that the main thing that they were selling us was already built. They weren't having to build anything new. It was just like, hey, this is what it would cost to build this, so that's what we're going to charge for it. And what I was saying is, I'm like, they already have that part of it. Like they could cut that cost 10x and say like, hey, we only want to charge 100 grand up front for this, and then we charge a service fee in order to
Yeah.
keep it updated and make sure that um, all of your infrastructure is always up to date. You have around the clock support and blah 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 blah. They would have 10x the signups, 100x the signups right now, because every DeFi protocol would want this blank as a service,
Yeah.
and every protocol, especially new ones that may have freshly raised, would have no problem throwing away 100,000 to have something professional grade to show, hey, we can not only do what we built, but like here's this app that does this, this, and this with what we built. Um, so yeah, it's like the same thing. But if they're given their the position they're in now, that may be a conversation to reignite, because it would just feel nice too, right? Like if you were
It
able to
would.
go onto something and like it have the Anata aesthetic to it,
Hmm.
and yeah, you know what I mean. Like the look and feel, the aesthetic is your brand, and that part of it is kind of what people gravitate towards, and why they one of the reasons why they like love their Anata so much. It's not just the use case and like what they can do with it, but
Yeah.
the
It's all
aesthetic that comes
encompassing.
along with it. Yep.
Totally. Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, we are at the hour mark. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to cover specifically. I think we've kind of gone over the lot that I had on Anata. Anything
No,
else you wanted to drop?
No, I actually had no idea what we were going to talk about. I thought you would be asking me a bunch of like DeFi alpha questions, and then we just got to talk about like Anata and NFTs, which is way more fun. So
No,
really
no.
happy you went this way.
I like to keep it like super casual. Like most
Sick.
podcasts are like, oh, give me the rundown of your full background. How did you get into crypto? Now talk to
Yeah.
me about
How do
like
I make money? Yeah.
yeah, share with us your alpha. What's your top altcoin picks? Like I fucking hate that so much. So like when we bring founders on, like if they have like a new product that they're launching and they want to talk
Yeah.
about it, like great, cool, let's cover it. If not, then like just be part of the peanut gallery for a day and let's like talk shit about whatever's happening in crypto. But I figured for Anata specifically, because I'm someone that like, loves to use mine, I use it every day and every single day I hear 3 to 5 times like, oh my God, that thing's so cool. Like, what is that? How do I get it? I was like, okay, we have to have like an Anata stream where we just like
Yeah.
talk about Anata, all the shit you guys are doing. So anytime someone's like, oh my God, that's so cool, I can be like, watch episode 28 where we have the founder on and we just fucking dance in our Anatas
I
for the
love
whole
that.
stream.
Yeah, just spam the dancing mode. There's so many more emotes. There's like angry and love and all that kind of stuff. I just don't have them all like set up and assigned right now.
I,
Um,
o-
but yeah,
I only have, I think I have 7 that are set up, and yeah, there's a
yeah.
shit ton more on these V2 ones,
There's so many.
and
You can
that's one of
spend
the
like a
things
whole
I
day
mean.
just
Like
playing with them.
in VTuber Studio, the way that the hotkeys and like setting those up, if you don't know what you're doing, it's confusing as shit at first. Like after,
Yeah,
I forgot who, someone from Discord. It wasn't.
probably Waifu King.
No, it wasn't Waifu King. There was someone
Oh wow.
else who was really like, who was really good with VTubers stuff in the very beginning.
Okay.
Aside from Waifu King, maybe Dragon something or
The dragon butt.
I don't think so, but it very well could have been. Yeah, either way, they showed me a bit, and then like it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
But
Once you
yeah, at
learn, it's
first it's
easy.
it's a bit
It's a bit
intimidating.
overwhelming. Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Yeah, having our own app, a cleaner UI. Like in the hologram, we made the emotes are actually one click. There's like an emotes tab, and you can see them, and you just click them, and it activates them. But it'd be, I think, because it's so generalized, it's not like made for Anata. So it'd be really cool if we kind of made an experience that was more made for Anata. I like that.
yeah, I can't use my well, I
V2
can't use
in
the
hologram.
V2
Yeah.
one in hologram, so I can't use my hands and I can't dance.
Yeah, the
And
hand tracking doesn't work and dancing
yeah,
doesn't work. It's
I
worth
can't.
setting up VTube Studio, I think. But yeah,
Definitely is. Well, I appreciate you coming on, DCF. If you ever want to come on
sick.
again and just join us for a regular stream, you're always welcome. I know it's a bit
Yeah,
early for you,
anytime.
but feel free to join us. That's it. We will see you guys back
All right.
tomorrow at 11 a.m. EST. Have a great rest of your day.
Nice chatting. Thanks.